Not only will Stephanie be providing you with insight, but also interviews with amazing guests. Now, your host of Chat with Charlie, Stephanie Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chat with Charlie. I am your host, Stephanie Lynn, and you're watching on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. Really excited to have you guys here. I'm upset, though, because about 2 minutes into this and right before I popped on, I remembered I forgot my lightsaber because it's May 4th, and I was going to tell you all that I hope the 4th is with you, and now my joke is irrelevant because it's still upstairs in my son's room. But just know, I was going to start with hilarity for the day because that seems to be where Spirit is taking us today. It's just always entertaining when Rob and I get together. And I know you guys will all be very excited to help me welcome back to the show, Spirit medium, Rob Thompson. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Stephanie. And I'm actually on my first cup of Java this morning, so normal services will be resumed as soon as the caffeine takes effect.
That's probably good, because then we could start with some semblance of normalcy for the viewers and just let the hilarity kind of fall into place.
We're good. We're good. It's all right. I'm between my first and my second. Usually it's my second and third when manic kicks in, so we'll be fine. Thank you so much for having.
Oh, thank you for coming on. And Thomas says good morning. He's excited you're here, and Ellie too. Good morning,
Thomas. Nice to talk. Always nice to talk to Thomas. He's such a great guy. Actually, his daughter does the Ghost Finders graphic art.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Very cool.
Hey.
Good morning, Jamie. She's also tuning in. Thank you for
Jamie.
Hi,
Jamie.
So I want to talk about something quick, because when I was popping, good morning, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Hi, Derek.
What was I looking? Oh, I know what I was looking at. I was getting your links together. Good morning, Julie, to bring you on the show so that we could share those. And I didn't realize you were on the cover of Paranormal Underground in March. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. I love the cover, particularly the way they put about skunk men experiments, right on my shoulder.
It was okay.
So that was. I don't know if that was intentional or.
No, I don't think. I would not take it personally.
I would just like to state for the record that I am not involved in skunk person experiments.
That's good to know. Do everybody write that down. Duly noted. Duly noted. Good morning, Julie, and good morning, Deborah. So I have a question, though, because on the cover, not the skunk man, that is not what intrigued me, was the topic of Hat Man, which is a topic I generally try to avoid. But because it was on the cover, I felt like maybe we should talk about it. Have you, within your paranormal research, good morning, Tony, come across Hat Man? Experiences with Hat Man?
No, I mean, shadow figures, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some incredible ones.
Right.
Some that were actually tactile.
Wow.
But probably not in the common definition of Hat Man. None that I could. I could definitively see or make out, at least, that we're wearing a hat.
Interesting. Jenny says hi. Jenny Davis says hi, Rob.
Oh, so Jenny, she's such a sweetheart. Hi, Tony.
Yeah, Tony from Florida. It's so nice when people kind of find us from all over the place.
It is. You know what? You're the chips to my fish. And Stephanie Lynn, she's also my salt and vinegar.
We are salt and vinegar. I like it, salt and vinegar. I have this really bad habit of picking up people's accents. And, by the end of the show, I'm just going to sound like a very confused Pennsylvania German, Wisconsin woman with English slang. So I apologize ahead of time.
You're gonna sound like an old Scots bag lady.
It's not going to end well for me. So I apologize ahead of time. Good morning, Bill Walters.
Good morning,
In
Bill.
and saying good morning.
Bill Walters is such a great guy.
So tell everybody, I mean, I think a lot of people, you've been on different shows within this station. You've got a great thing going with Ghost Finders, but for people who really don't know or might not know who you are, give them a quick little overview of who is Rob Thompson.
Well, so I moved to the States in '97. Spiritual, my spiritual universe really hadn't formed around me, or I hadn't melded into it until much later. But as a kid, I started experiencing some psychoactive activity, some paranormal, spiritual, bit of everything really, in an old manor home where my mother was housekeeper. We weren't rich. And she worked there and raised me herself. And so I would have, while she was working every day, sort of weekdays, I had a lot of time on my hands. So remembering that this is about a 200-300-year-old home, stuff literally started coming out of the woodwork at me. So I had my first experience there. I'll cut to the chase. That's what really lit the fuse, made me realize that I had abilities. There was a lot of bullying going on.
I get that.
Yeah, well, in the 80s, there wasn't really much else to do. There were only two.
Right. We didn't have video games to entertain us, so we had to be jerks to other people.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Well, they did. So
Right.
They bullied me. I can laugh about it now, but bullying is I'm a very strong proponent against bullying.
Yes.
Because it's an irony, because the bullies are actually the cowards. Because they only pick on people that can't defend themselves. That said, moving forward, I didn't want to give them fuel for the fire, so I kept that one to myself and say, I got another reason for you to kick the hell out of me. I talk to dead people. So that wasn't going to happen. So that push out really sort of stayed with me. I don't even think it was intentional, or maybe it was just I wasn't right. Anyway, until much, much later, I moved. I grew up, moved to the Netherlands. Then I lived there for 8 years. Then I moved to the States in '97. And then right after moving here, it started to sort of permeate again. You're not pushing this ability away, that easy. And then a few years after, at that point, I discovered that one of my babysitters, my first probably ever babysitter, when I'm from the age of 2 to about 3, Josie, this sweet little old lady, friend of my mum's, had passed and had reemerged to become my spiritual babysitter. Sort of
I love that. Yeah.
So she's my spirit guide, and then I started doing the Ghost Finders. I was way too scared to come out. Just didn't.
I get that
already.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that. And there's more about that in my book, which is coming out at the end of August.
Do tell.
And
what is your book called?
It's sorry, hang on, let me just silence her phone. It's a nice tune, though. It's a droid, so I don't know how to silence it. Okay. And so so it's the title is kind of tentative. I'm sort of playing around with it, and it was going to be a sort of a bit of a darker book than I was going to go with.
Sure.
But I decided to give it levity, and really do it more with vignettes of aspects in chronological order growing up. So now it's tentatively called My Afterlife, and then in parentheses, My Life After.
Yeah, I like that, because that's really, I think, puts a lot of it into perspective for people like us, because so much changes but doesn't change when you embrace your abilities and your connections with spirit. So I love that.
Yeah, and I have absolutely no doubt, seeing it now, why this emerged when it did, because I really everything happens in the right order.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, and for a reason, even though you may not at the time know what that
Right.
reason is,
Right.
and may resent that reason.
Yeah.
For me, I just wasn't mature enough to be able to handle the humongous responsibility that comes with this
Oh,
gift.
yeah.
And every medium and empath and shaman will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think you have to heal yourself.
I think that's part of the process
before you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Before you're able to heal others. You know what I mean?
And Jamie says, put me on the pre-order list. So can people start pre-ordering?
No, not yet. Not yet.
We'll keep you posted.
We'll definitely keep you posted. So look at the end of August. The launch will be at an event in the UK,
Awesome.
which is the Festival of the Unexplained.
Oh, sounds fun.
And I'm back there again this year. Last year's was amazing.
Wonderful.
So that's September the 14th, 15th, 16th.
Do you post your events that you're going to on your webpage?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely do. So you can check those events out on my Facebook page, which is at Rob Thompson Spirit Medium.
Yep.
And you can also check it out on my website, which is spiritmedium.com.
Wonderful. And Todd, thank you. He popped those up in there for anybody looking to find that. And so viewers, we encourage you as we kind of talk, please, if you have questions about the paranormal or ghost finders or questions for Rob, please shoot those in there. He'd be more than happy to answer those for you. Jamie says her birthday is on the 26th. So that would be a great day to release your book.
26th it is. Okay. Right, what day is that? It's not Sunday, is it?
I don't know. I'd have to look at a calendar.
Scramble. There's a t-shirt for the first person who tells me what day that falls on.
Oh God. I hear all the Google phones going as they're all scrolling to look. I see them all scrolling to look. Oh.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. You could just say any day and I would.
Right. Yep. You'd be like, yep, perfect. Yep, that's the day. So
yes.
How Jackie says it's a Saturday. She was the first one in.
Jackie, yeah, just give Todd your info and we'll get you a t-shirt out. Let me know your size.
All right. It's awesome. So how did you, right? Because a lot of us get interested in the paranormal and those with our abilities, I think that kind of comes as an interest as we look to understand the unexplained. How did you come up with the idea of pulling that together and putting that out there? Like how did that look for you?
Well, I've always the only thing I've ever really wanted to do was work in TV.
Right.
And I just it was just not in the 80s UK, it was not a reasonable sort of not a very reasonable career choice.
Sure.
Because it was totally going to throw the British TV industry under the bus here from the 80s, whatever. They're all in wheelchairs now anyway. But it was very much well, you can do that, but which private school did you go to? And
right.
And does Daddy know Zoe, who is married to the Director General of the BBC? Sure. And then we can put a call in and rub
right.
noses. It just wasn't. Oh, you want to be on TV? Oh, it's lovely. Okay, we want to work in TV. Lovely. So by the way, I got you a application here for the knicker elastic factory down the road are hiring, and I'm not kidding you, knicker elastic. Not that there's anything. I have nothing against.
Well, we all need elastic knickers in our underwear.
Well, exactly.
It's important. Good morning, Terry.
So so my idea of working in television was less supported than
Sure.
B-Nickers were. So, and consequently, it's just, I went into the military, I just,
Right.
I wanted to kind of escape that whole toxic sort of, nattery sort of negative village environment and see the big wide world, at least
right.
somewhat.
It's a good way to travel. Mm-hmm.
So, so I did that, and didn't stay in there for long. But one of the things that moved me to go in the military, was discipline. I found I needed internal and external discipline.
Sure.
Just which I thank, indubitably, for having the grit that I have and being such a stubborn son of a bitch.
That's not naturally instilled. I just assume that's how you came out.
Oh, there's a witty crack from the Scottish bag lady. Hi. That's all right. It's just a little. I'm not even insulting each other. She has plenty of names for me. But yeah, I think I think it's important, really, to remember that I never let that go, that passion go. Don't ever take no for an answer. Don't say, if someone says no, push back 10 times harder.
Right.
So I did that, and the years passed, and I kept pushing back.
Yeah.
And then I had been watching what was the biggest show in the UK for many, many, many years, and for some people still is, a paranormal show, and that was really the only one, which was called Most Haunted, with Yvette Fielding, Carl Beatty, and Stu and the gang, and Derek Okora, the late Derek Okora, who was a good friend of mine, and it occurred to me that I could actually use this gift in combination with my passion for working on TV, even if I was a little older, and so I started that when I was probably, I think I was here for about 10 years, and I started video documenting investigations. And then one day someone said, "Oh, can we have a look at some of those?" And it was a local little itty bitty local station.
Sure. But you got to start somewhere, right?
100 viewers. Yes.
Yeah.
And they seemed to like it. The people liked it. So we sort of put together, in my horrible editing, which was at that point pretty much what it is now, which is sort of iMovie, before Heather came along and rescued it. And I did that, for a few episodes. People liked it, and then I met Heather, season 2 and 3.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's brilliant in how she puts things together.
Yeah, all self-taught editing and music, and she just got her degree in audio. She got her degree in audio production.
Wow.
So online.
Yeah.
While looking after 2 babies, that one and me, and I think Lily takes priority. But yeah, no, that's the story in a nutshell from a nutcase. And I think that everyone should just not try and force anything, because when it's ready to happen, it will happen. But there's also like a happy medium. It
is.
In between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Catherine and Michael. I like, how you said, don't give up, keep trying, keep persevering. But I think that people sometimes look at, they keep shoving against that door. And if they're not doing that, they look at it as they're giving up, but it's not, keep persevering and working for things, but you have to let timing unfold. So I think those are really important messages, just, across the board.
When you're not, when you're not filming, then the curtains may be closed, but there's building and construction going on sets behind the scenes before you start filming. So that's kind of like a euphemism. and I just wanted to answer that Thomas says, with so many people saying that they have the gift, do you think that it's because it isn't as taboo now, nowadays, or a mass spiritual awakening is happening? I think it's kind of, it's exactly that. It's both things,
Right.
because we've, I think, just been so bombarded not so much this last year, thank God,
Right.
but the couple years preceding, with death and everywhere. And we can thank our lucky stars that we are among the people that made it through a historic once in a century pandemic, once in a century, I hope.
Right.
And sadly, many didn't. But I think that brought us to a new paradigm. I think it's made people think more, because they've been thinking more about death, because it's been everywhere. You couldn't not think about it. That it's made us more at the same time think about what's next.
Right.
And so in that, yeah, absolutely. I think it's revolutionized. I think it's brought us into a new paradigm, a whole shift in enlightenment and an awakening.
Yeah, I agree with that, to an extent. I think it's started some of those conversations. I think there's always been a fascination with death. Excuse me. There's been a fascination with what happens when we cross over. And so I think accumulatively, because the world lost so many people in a short amount of time, that kind of started that conversation and looking at those things again. But before we go any further, we do have to take our first station break. And I am laughing. Deidre sent in a message. She said, "Happy medium, LOL." That made me crack up. So I love it.
Isn't it cute?
Yes. So we will see you all back in just a minute. We will continue to answer your questions, and we'll also talk to Rob about starting conversations.
The Body Code is a revolutionary method of energetic healing developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which allows us to quickly and easily identify specific imbalances that seem to underline chronic ill health, acute and chronic pain, and discomfort, dysfunction, and stress. Ellie energetically connects with the subconscious of the client. Psychic medium Ellie Weisensell is a medical intuitive and energy healer, and a certified body code practitioner. She identifies and clears energetic imbalances within the body and energy field. Contact Ellie at the website below, and Ellie can work remotely from a distance, by phone, online, video chat. There's no need to travel to an office. Remember, the Body Code is safe for humans and animals. Contact Ellie today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Did you see my private chat comments?
I did. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, gosh. No, hang on a second. I didn't. Wait, sorry. I was just spritzing myself.
Okay. I know you were spritzing yourself. That's what my comment was about.
What are you spraying over there? Maybe do a skunk man experiment. That's exactly what I'm doing. Skunk man experiments.
It was on the cover of the magazine. I'm just like,
yeah,
maybe it's a tabloid.
Well, since you asked, it's actually one of our huge range of fantastic products from our sponsor for season 12 on the Ghost Finders, Just Sage It, at shopjustsageit.com. And
check it out, guys.
What I love about it, sorry, shameless plug there, but what I love about it is you don't need incandescent flame. What they've basically done is put purification and protection and all of those wonderful essences, that in many ways are usually only used candescently, with a flame. This way you can have a spritz at work, so if you've got this energy vampire going in your ear, then you can just go.
I like to just throw salt at them. Is that not appropriate?
That's why you carry that bag of salt in your handbag.
It is, yeah. Just like a fairy, but it's salt.
You are a very fey-like person, though, Steph. You are
something. Something.
You're like a Scots fey bag lady spiritual.
I'm like a little blue light. Isn't that what they were in that Disney movie?
Was it? That's right. It was blue, and then all the little
blue lights. Yep.
Wow, I love that. Yeah. But yeah. Sorry.
We digress.
ADHD.
Wisp. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, Wisp. That's what they call
Wisp. That's right. Willow the Wisp.
So Catherine is asking if they carry frankincense or if there's frankincense in it. So what was that site again, so they can go check out the different sprays?
So this is just one. My personal, my favorite is lemon and lavender, but they are, you can find them at www.shopjustsageit as one word.com.
Perfect.
And while you're at it, if you want some crystals and some soaps and some amazing other things, you could also check out my other friends at crescentmoonsoaps.com. So
perfect. Thank you, Todd. Todd put that up there, so I'll leave that on there for a second for everybody to get that. Thank you, Deidre. Deidre popped it in there too. I appreciate it. Good morning, Jolene, and everybody that's tuning in. We appreciate that you're here. We're just kind of answering random questions that you guys have about the paranormal or anything like that, and just ensuing with some hilarity as we tend to do. So what do you want to talk about, Rob?
There's a 300-pound Scottish Celtic sort of Norwegian gorilla in the room, and he's wanting to say something, wanting to announce something, but I think he's going to wait until after the next break or two.
Next break? All right.
Yeah.
You guys got to stick all the way through to the end of the show to hear Rob's announcement and what he's got going on.
Stephanie's announcement, actually, because it's Stephanie's show.
I don't know. I guess you guys got to see who lets the cat out of the bag first. So Catherine's asking, how do you keep up with all the people that passed? I don't know if she means like how do you? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people in spirit. I don't know if that's what she means.
Well, if I understand that question correctly, then if it's someone particularly that I'll know, and a lot of cases it really isn't. It's just like I've just passed, and I want to speak through you.
Right.
Okay. Maybe blessings to you. Then again, I'm not entirely sure I understand the question.
Well, and she says with COVID, so I'm wondering if I think I get where she's going with this question now, because she just added that in. So I know, like, for myself, with September 11th, it really didn't affect me so much with COVID, but coming into September 11th, I was kind of just becoming more aware of my abilities. And for nights, I would dream and it would just be like static, and I would feel like I was flying. And later, I actually read some spiritual books that said a lot of light workers were being called to help people cross and to help people with some of those things that were going on. And it's not something I completely understand, but I think that's kind of what she's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I during the pandemic, I had a lot of people that were connected with me indirectly, and in some cases very indirectly, in some cases not at all, that were letting me know
Right.
that they were on the other side and they had a message for someone that I did know. And that happened a lot over the space of certainly more the first year.
Right.
And I think that Spirit was so the sheer volume of people that were passing sort of doubled.
Yeah.
You know, and Spirit was looking for as many viable outlets to communicate as possible. And while there were probably, you know, millions of people with our gift, in the spirit world, you know, able to do that, I think it's still in many ways not enough, you know. And that happened a lot. And honestly, I can't pretend that I understood a lot of them, because you're not always able to make the connection.
Correct.
You're only as you're an interpreter.
Right.
So even, you know, so for example, the Spanish English interpreter, my Spanish is horrible, but as an interpreter, you know, there are the key words that I can get from that, and I can get an understanding of what the message is. And you know, it's not like this exact science.
Oh gosh, no, sometimes I feel like I'm playing charades.
I'm
like, all right, wait,
a great scenario.
Okay, big plane, little plane, like, yeah, it's like charades at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, and I think that people expect I think that if you've going for your first reading and you're a bit of a skeptic, maybe, that there's an inclination sometimes to be to almost treat it like a game show.
Right.
Wrong answer. Sorry, it's not Aunt Matilda. You know, it's and you've maybe seen, you know, you're hearing waltzing Matilda, waltzing, you know, and it has no relevance to the name Matilda. You know, it's about this person and was from Australia.
Yeah. And that's, I like that, because I don't think people, and that song is the perfect, you know, kind of example.
Euphemism.
Yeah, we don't realize that when people are working and connecting to the other side or to spirit, we have to quickly interpret. Is it something related to the song? Is it the name? Is it the story of the song? You know, and a lot of times spirit will be like, they'll show me my grandpa. Okay, why are you showing me my grandpa? What am I supposed to pull out of this that relates to the other person?
Maybe he used to whistle it, you know, like a lot, you know, when he was in the garden. You know, and how would we know that? You know, so the onus is equally upon the sitter.
Yes.
You know, as it is upon the medium. You know, I've had people, you know, who were on the fence, and that's absolutely brilliant, because you have to be. You know, I mean, you have to be complete. So, and they've sat down, and you can tell, because they always fold their arms.
All right, yeah.
Like this,
okay,
you know.
I'm ready for you to read for me.
Yeah. All right, tell me what it's all about, and you know, you know, and my answer is always to that, saying, you know, we can sit here for half an hour, and this is usually at events more that this happens, you know, and it only very, very rarely, but when it does, you know, and they're giving like the screens up, and I simply say then, well, it's your money and it's your time, our time.
Yeah.
I want you to come back. So I wanted to be able to give you the best possible reading I can.
Absolutely.
How about we let go of the attitude and the doubting and all those screens, okay? Because the pandemic is, at least in this part of the world, over. And your spiritual screens.
Right.
I get paid either way. But if you want to sit there with your arms folded and just block me, then that's if that's the experience you want, then that's what you get out of it.
And Catherine says open mind and open heart.
Open mind, open heart, exactly.
Right.
And then there'll be a chuckle usually.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know, maybe a compliment even. Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah. How did I figure out that you were a skeptic?
What? Yeah. I'll tell people that too. Like, I didn't have to be psychic to know that. Like, you're just sitting here looking like you were brought here at gunpoint, and you know, so yeah, I get that. And we do have, not to skip around, but we do have quite a few questions coming in.
I saw one from Thomas, but it's
yes. If you go to start, we'll start at the top, but I'll pop it up here. And Thomas says, Rob, with yourself and the other team members on the Ghost Finders, always taking a positive approach towards your investigations, would there ever be a reason or situation where you would be more aggressive?
Before I really knew how to, before I'd even started developing this ability,
right,
and knew frankly the hell I was doing, I remember one case in Gettysburg. We were at an orphanage, and there at this former orphanage, atrocities happen, and there was a woman, Rosa, I think her name was, that was the head honcho there. And she had barbaric punishments for children.
Right.
Not even punishments. She was a freak.
She was just mean. Right.
Nuts. Yeah. Bonkers. Evil.
Yeah.
All the above. And would put them in freezing cold barrels of ice water and not feed them and tie them up. And being a dad, I don't know. I lost it. I lost. This is like season 2, maybe. So 9 years ago. And I just lost it. And I'm like, you despicable woman, you despicable coward. And I said earlier, I have a history of being bullied. So that particularly sticks in my craw. And I did get very angry. And then I realized I was losing contact with spirit because anger is not conducive.
No, it's not light and love.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to remove. I just had to leave. I had to leave because I was shown images. That were so horrific. As a father, or as anyone, as a human being. Right. You would just abhor. And that was one time that slipped. I think really the only times that I can think of are when I was channeling someone else, and I mean that as a trance medium. Right. When I've at a couple of locations when I've been channeling someone else, a couple of times without the consent. My consent, but since I've been learning about shielding, and I've done that. I've been working for the last 2 years with Diet Renee, who we both know, and mediumship master teacher, and she has taught me those disciplines and a lot more. And thank goodness now it's not like Russian roulette, like, oh, jump on in, the time is right. So yeah, those are the only times really over the last few years that I've really allowed myself to get, and it's not myself being angry, it's someone within me venting. Yeah.
And Thomas says, thanks for your honesty.
Always. Thank you.
So Speaking Spirit asks, do you physically see spirits, or is it more seeing them in your mind's eye? Do you physically see?
Yes, I see. It's both.
Yeah.
So I'll see spirit in my mind's eye, and it's like, so let's just say I'm not, but like say right now, I could be, it's like I'm on in London on the tube, or in New York on the
subway,
on the A train. Yeah. And like this, and then, oh, hello,
Right.
And there's a face that I've never seen before. You have a little chat, how are you? Oh yeah, and it'll happen that way. I'm seeing that person
Right.
physically. Another time is when I will either hear a voice or see a face, or sometimes both, in my
Sure.
mind's eye,
Yeah.
and it just pops right in, like I've like they're doing with that subliminal messaging,
Sure. Yeah.
like Hershey's, where
Right.
suddenly, boom, a Hershey kiss pops right into your head, and you're like, you can't understand why.
Speaking of that, and it's a little off topic, and I'm going to interrupt, and I'm sorry, but I'm not.
No, you're not. You're not sorry.
No, not really. Have
No.
you ever? So I noticed I've been working on some different angles with my abilities, and in one aspect that I'm working, when I connect with a certain spirit, will pick up like their preferences, and so I'll have the urge to drink black coffee. I hate black coffee. I only drink black coffee for creamer. Like that's the only reason I drink coffee, is because I like the creamer. But I've noticed where I will pick up some preferences of the spirit I'm connecting with. And now when I know, especially this is an ongoing connection that I have with this one particular spirit, I know when she's ready to connect, because I'll want to go pour myself a black cup of coffee. Do you have that happen?
Yeah, that's that's happened to me a few years ago. I'm thinking of a few cases, examples of that, where we were filming, I think, season 7 at White Hill Mansion in New Jersey, and
Sure.
amazing place. I gotta go back there. But we were down in this speakeasy that was down in the basement, and
Right.
and they're I'm having a little chat with the barman, and the answers are coming across clear as day. I mean, even the
Right.
camera guy is just like, and the sound guy is just like, and darn it, if I didn't want a bourbon. Darn
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And it's like a good what's your favorite bourbon? Back, and great episode, by the way. And all our old episodes are coming out of the Ghost Finders vault, so you'll see me a lot younger looking, and
I love it.
and a few new old faces. So they're going to be coming out soon. But yeah, that was one case, and I started feeling myself like I could feel spirit, like checking out the ladies,
Right.
who were present, and that felt kind of uncomfortable. So very much so. You've sort of almost like you feel their influence. And actually, the last shoot that we did, without giving too much away, which was the first shoot for season 12 at Randolph County Infirmary / Asylum, we actually brought tobacco, and whiskey, for
some trigger items.
Yeah, for that reason, because that does happen. And you can imagine in a prison, all men.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And being in that environment,
you should have brought porn, like some nudie magazines.
What now?
I said you should have brought some nudie. I mean, it's prison. Nudie magazines.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
I know,
but I'm just saying.
I know, but unfortunately, Dan wouldn't let them go. He wouldn't part with any of his collection, so we had to leave it. But yeah, so you very much do. You feel influenced. I think in the case of a negative entity channeling, that it knocks stuffing out of you, and it's very hard to be love and light after that, even after entity is gone.
Right.
At least that's been the case with me. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. So everybody's laughing about my nudie magazine comment. I mean, it's prison people. They don't get to see that. I was just throwing it out there. So Jolene says, we're awesome, which I appreciate. But she says, Rob, have you ever had an argumentative spirit come through? And I think you kind of covered that with, some of the situations that you've dealt with.
Only almost every other time, I mean, one case, a very good. I have clients. I do Zoom readings,
Right.
and some are very often, like every couple of weeks or so, and it's wonderful about that is you get to really know their spirits and
Right.
vice versa, and so I did have a case where that. Well, basically, we were talking, and I made it a joke, and Spirit said, "Well, what was that supposed to mean?" And I said it, so what's that supposed to mean? And they cracked up laughing. Oh my
Right.
God, that's her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's doing this with the glasses up and down, and and I'm like, what's that? And she was like, oh my God, there's no way. And I'm like, and then she said, you really don't need him. If you were to like trust your own intuition a little,
right.
and
Yeah. That
in,
advice.
you might hear the 100,000 times I'm sat next to your pillow trying to get your attention.
Yeah. Red
And
flag,
what you
red
do,
flag, red flag.
you roll over.
Yeah.
You roll out. Yeah, exactly. And she just was like,
I love it.
And I was just like, ooh, don't need him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Isn't it interesting, before we cut to break, interesting how it's like we're in a conversation when we're giving a reading, but we have no clue what the conversation is about. It's like
right. It's happening to
feel
us.
like an eavesdropper. Yeah.
Yeah. And you exactly. You feel sort of like sometimes it's really awkward to sort of be there.
Oh gosh. Oh yes. Yes, I agree. I agree. So with that, we are going to take our last station break. When we come back, Anthony had 2 questions that I do want to touch on. So hopefully we will have time to tell you what's coming up.
If you're a fan of the paranormal world, then you'll love WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Talk shows bringing you the latest on everything paranormal, cryptozoological, metaphysical, true crime, psychic readings, and more. The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.
Welcome back to Chat with Charlie. It is 49 past the hour. And if you're just joining now, come back, join the hilarity, because Rob is hysterical. He is England's best comedian, and he's a pretty good spirit medium. So check him out. But okay, so
what do I do with that? I mean, that's fantastic.
You just smile. Just smile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Anthony has 2 really good points that I want to make sure we get to really quick. His first one is it a good idea to sage haunted items that you bring into your home, or how do you cleanse them?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely do that. In fact, if it's, a used piece of furniture, so I like to upcycle, and I love antiques.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Heather likes antiques, and that's why she's with me. So, but yeah.
I didn't want to laugh too much at that one. Then you made fun of me for laughing at you for being old.
So actually, several different ways. Well, I will sage it, and not to do another advertising plug, but I'm one of the things that I do, and this is kind of how
right,
comes full circle. But the Just Sage It sprays. I will just do 2 or 3 spritz over an object. Like the piano is a self-playing piano that's broke in our house.
Love
and
it.
Lillian plays it all the time. She's like little Elton John, little 6-year-old. She can actually play it.
Does she have the glasses?
She no glasses. No. Oh well.
She needs Elton John glasses.
Oh no, I know she does. She has
Yeah.
kind of like those, but she
Okay.
won't wear any sunglasses I ever buy her. She's anyway.
We digress.
And I'll just sort of spritz, and it doesn't play itself the same dum dum
Sure.
dum. I used to think it was the cat walking on the keys.
Right.
And so yes, I do. I also will use it's been known for me to use a tuning fork.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Forks, which I think are powerful. I actually believe that tuning forks have the ability to act as a microphone into spirit.
That's an interesting theory. We're gonna have to mark that down for a later conversation.
Yeah,
because that's very interesting. For me, I don't always sage the items. In fact, I drive my husband crazy because I love antiques too. And I got a ton of them in my house. And I'll walk through antique stores with my hands in my pocket. Because usually once I touch something, then I'm like, oh, I have to buy this. And my husband will be like, well, why? And I'll be like, well, the little old man, he wants to come home with us, and so sometimes I will just move something on if it's a little bit more negative attached to something, but sometimes they just want to come and hang out, and so we just set up boundaries, and I have random spirits that live with me. It's just what we do. So yeah,
inanimate objects do that, right? They with them, you have that residual energy, and then hopefully it's a good residual energy.
Right. Yeah, there's sometimes where especially, so I have an obsession with boxes, little boxes, big boxes, trunks. Long story short, but I like boxes, and there'll be times my husband will be like, "Oh, do you want this trunk?" And I'll be like, "Nope, not that one. Let's keep going, please." So yeah, there's some things that you just don't want to bring home.
So you're not just a bag lady, you're a box lady.
I have trunks. I'm a box lady. A box. I have boxes. Do you like my accent? I'm going to work on it.
I like that a lot. Depends on which part of Scotland you're the lowlands. So if you're like Glasgow, otherwise
I'm confused. I'm the part of Scotland that's confused. That's where I'm from. When you say spirit, who or what are you referring to? God of the Bible or something else?
That's a really, really good question.
It is.
And in fact, that's a superb question. For me, spirit is of God, is of the heavens, is of that celestial white light bathed with love dimension, everything from which comes from that. And I realize that's going to conflict with a lot of people's ideals and whatnot, and probably quite probably or possibly yours too, but that is the most that is the clearest answer that I can give, based on my own perspective.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that is how it is, but that's how it is for me.
You. Right. And I would say I'm pretty similar. Sometimes when I'm referring to spirit, I'm referring to source or God or however you want to view it.
Force energy, yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes when I'm saying spirit, I'm referring to my communicator, or I might be referring to Michael that's come into work. So it really depends who and the context of what I'm talking about that I'm referring to spirit. I have a very similar, I think, view as far as what Rob does with source. But for me, it's, this is going to hurt a lot of ideals. But for me, it's, yes, in this time, it's God, it's Jesus. But I feel like they have been the same throughout time, just called different things. And so I think right now in society, that's where we're at, and that's how we recognize them. So usually when I'm referring to source, that's who I'm referring to.
So like a general term, Right.
Yeah. It's a general term, like bloke or chap, just, a general term. So, and Jolene says, I do want to make sure Heather gets recognition because Heather is amazing. And she says, Heather really is amazing with her editing. Her and Rob edited a video I did. So
I'm sort of the soundboard. She does all of the heavy lifting, so she takes all the credit. And yes, she is amazing. And the show is what it is because of her.
Yes. So we've got 5 minutes left before Todd kicks us off. We just self-destruct like Mission Impossible on here. What do you have coming up? What's your big news?
Is that your pickup line?
It is. Actually, I have much better pickup lines. I haven't used them in a really long time because I'm old and married, but I'm married for a reason.
Yeah. You're not old. You're not old by a long shot, sweetheart. Yeah.
I'm just good at doing pickup.
There are many, many thousands of bags you still have to pick up.
Yeah, under my eyes.
And I've already got them. So, yeah, I think we've got a bit of an announcement because if you've enjoyed listening to us waffle on about some amazing...
I got to learn these terms. Is there, do you have a dictionary?
I have because
if you're going to use things like waffle on, I could infer a lot from waffle on.
You have the maple syrup, but no, it's, I mean, if you're going to wrap it on, right. Then if you've enjoyed us, over the last hour and you so kindly having me on your show again, which is always a treat, then, and a few people said to me, you guys have got a pretty, really cool connection. I'm really enjoying your show. Everyone that's on right now, just a thumbs up if you agree, because Stephanie is about to tell you what is coming up on the 18th of this month, starting on a weekly show.
Why is it my responsibility? So I've been ignoring Rob for months. It's probably been months that I've been ignoring your messages. It was quite a while. And Rob talked me into this ridiculous idea, but it's full of hilarity. So I think you guys will really like it, but we're going to join forces, right? Right.
We are. We are going to join spiritual forces.
I like it.
And starting on and every Thursdays, right past the hump.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's been happening prior to that, in the week prior.
Yeah.
It'll be 5 hours before the Friday, so it's kind of like a TGI, almost F Friday, and talking about some of the things connected with spirit and not connected with spirit, but points of view and perceptions, and why those perceptions exist, and what pushes those perceptions and stereotypes with conflicting points of view.
Oh God, yeah. We don't even agree on what waffle means.
We do no. Well, I know, and then I'm going to teach you about the geography of Scotland as well. The Highlands and the Lowlands, and then you got to know your whiskies. So
I can't drink whiskey. Long story short, it makes me not a nice person. I like it though.
Oh, well, so what we have to do is just get you a bottle of scotch and lock you in a room. And,
there you go. Be entertaining.
Wear armor.
It'd be entertaining for the spirits locked in the room with me. So yes, Rob had this great idea, and Spirit had kicked it around to me, and I'm like, whoever are we going to find to sit down and have these discussions? But starting the conversation, right? There's so many conversations that we just don't want to have with each other, and it's okay to not agree. It's okay to have different perspectives, but somebody has to start talking about this stuff. And that's what we want to try to do.
The Universe with Rob and Steph starts Thursday at 7 p.m. On the 18th.
So mark it down, guys. And if you are tuning in next week, we'll have Michael Christopher here. We'll be doing a live reading show. And then the 25th, Ellie and I get in the mix and we talk about some freaky news. So you want to get freaky with me and Ellie, get in the mix and join us next week to talk with Michael Christopher while he answers your questions. Rob, it was so nice to have you here.
Thank you, darling. Bless you. And thank you, everybody, for your comments and questions, too. And thank you so much. Can't wait to talk again with you.
Absolutely. We will see you together collectively on the 18th. And I believe Monday you're going to be back on the station.
Monday, I will be back again on the station with my psychic media master teacher, Diet Renee.
Yeah, so
looking forward to that as well. And you just can't Todd just can't get rid of me, much as he tries.
No.
I think he should stop trying. He might, but
you know, he's so selective on who he likes. On that note, guys,
then, if that's the case.
He loves us all. Todd is a great guy. We give him too much grief. We will see you all in just a couple weeks, and I'll see you all next week.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.